Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today I'm going to fly my paramotor, and I wanted to make a video about how I've stayed safe in this sport for the last couple years that I've been doing it. I am a little bit over 100 hours flying now, and just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on how I've been doing with flying, and just kind of go through some stuff on what I do in order to stay safe flying, because I know there has been some concern with people out there, just concern for me on Facebook and some YouTube comments, just, you know, kind of almost like yelling at me for doing this, and I don't think they realistically understand the risk that is involved with this sport, especially when you take proper action planning and training to do this. It's statistically safer than a motorcycle. So and nobody will bat an eye if I'm riding a Hayabusa or if I'm drag racing an 8-second car or anything like that. So just wanted to kind of come out here, and we're gonna go flying. It's gonna be an absolutely beautiful night. So first things first, we're gonna look at the forecast. The forecast for tonight, I use an app called Windy, windy.com here. So this will show your wind forecast. So if we scroll in on where we're at, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, we can click and we can see that the forecast for tonight is calling for currently 1 gusting 8 and 3 gusting 6 at sunset. So that's a pretty good forecast, especially for around here in the Midwest. We don't really get a lot of nice days like this. It's usually really windy around here. But we can also look at all the forecast models, and all of the forecast models are in agreement with it's going to be freaking nice tonight. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different forecast models that I look at. This is just to get an idea if I'm going to go flying, and then once I know that the forecast is good, I'm going to go to a website called ppg.report, and this app will actually give me the wind speed on the surface all the way up to 14,000 feet. So we can see currently it's 427, sunsets at 5:54. And we can see that currently the forecast is 5 gusting 7, so it's 4 on the ground, and then it's like 7 way up at 3,000 feet. And if we can scroll 5 o'clock, 3 miles an hour all the way up to 1,000 feet, 6 o'clock, 1 mile an hour, pretty much all the way to 1,000 feet. So the trend for this forecast is it's trending lighter as the night goes on, and if we keep scrolling, we're still only 4 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour. It doesn't get up to 7 miles an hour until 9 o'clock, so that gives us a good like 2-hour buffer before the wind speed is going to pick up to an uncomfortable level. I'm comfortable up to about 10 miles an hour of wind aloft. I usually won't launch unless the surface wind is below like 7 or 8 miles an hour, but I will fly if the winds are about 10 miles an hour aloft. That's about my cutoff, just because the stronger the wind is, the more risk you have for turbulence. So, or just like uncomfortable flying. It's just not as fun when it's windy. So you got to remember we're kind of on a piece of cloth, just kind of dangling in the sky. So the forecast looks absolutely awesome for tonight. So with that being said, we're going to go get the glider laid out in the field, and I'll show you guys my preparation of how I lay my glider out. And yeah, but the main thing, staying safe, I think, for me, that's kept me safe, is I refuse to fly when the weather's bad. Like I won't even risk it. There's no point. It's not even fun if you go up and it's a little windy. I got nobody to impress, so it's just not fun. I did that stuff when I was first learning. I would fly in some pretty trashy air with some buddies, but it's just not worth it. Now that I know what my limit is, and I'm a lot better at forecasting and kind of knowing, just being a little bit more in tune with the weather, I kind of know like if the air is going to be good or if it's going to be trash or whatever. And I'm almost certain tonight's going to be glassy smooth. Once these thermals completely shut off, it's still a little bit breezy. It's probably 4 or 5 miles an hour right now. But yeah, no reason to fly in strong wind. it keeps the sport interesting too, because you don't get to do it as often unless the weather's perfect. So that's my first reason, or first way that I've stayed safe. I have a very strict weather threshold that I religiously stick to, unless like I'm super jonesing to go fly, then I'll go fly by the water, where you can fly with more wind and have the air be smoother. Anyways, I could go on a whole tangent about weather and stuff like that. If you guys want me to talk more about that stuff, let me know down in the comments. But with that being said, let's get the windsock out. That's another thing too, is I always have a windsock. I know I already know the wind is coming from this general direction, but I always put a windsock up. I don't pride myself on knowing where the wind is coming from. I always use a windsock, even if it's just like a few, 5-10 degree difference in where the wind direction is coming from. It makes a huge difference on how effectively and how efficiently you can launch the glider. If you launch just a little bit off from the wind direction, it will, the wing will follow the wind. So, and I can count on one hand the amount of failed launches that I've ever had. So, and this thing right here, which is just a fishing stick, it's just a fishing pole kind of thing. With this, great investment with just a piece of construction tape on it. Gives me my wind direction, and yeah. So we're gonna get this thing set up. And it's a really high one, so we can get the wind at where the glider's actually going to be. I know some people will put a windsock up like just at the height of their vehicle, and that's not really going to tell you what the wind's doing, where your glider's actually going to be on launch. So that's why I have a really tall windsock, and I always use it, and I always put it on top of my trailer frame and then wedge it against my tire here, the spare tire. So it just kind of sits like that, and then we can see the wind is coming pretty much exactly where I thought, but it is kind of moving around a little bit. It's still, we still got about an hour and a half till sunset. Usually the last hour of the night is the best. People say that the thermals and everything shuts off 2 hours before sunset, and right now the air is probably fine. We could go flying, no problem. But I've noticed, at least around here, that last hour is the best, and that's when the wind actually shuts off. So we can see right now we still have wind, and it's about an hour and a half till sunset. So yeah, let's grab the glider and go put it out in the field. I'm going to switch to my helmet cam, and I'll talk to you through the helmet cam while we get the glider set up. All right, so we're going to grab the glider out of the truck. Hopefully the camera angle is okay. All right, so we're gonna walk out here. Not gonna walk out very far. We don't need to, because I parked my truck according to the wind direction. You can see the wind's like this now, or it was like this before. So we can see the wind's like this. We're gonna try to set it up somewhere in this range right here. And then before we take off, I'll also check the windsock right before I launch to know if the wind changed, and it will help me know what the glider is going to do as I pull it up. So yeah, it's in this area here. It's a little bit variable right now, which is a good sign that the wind's going to completely shut off soon. So yeah, here's my glider bag. I use the Ozone stuff sack. I pack it up the same way, so it's usually really easy for me to just kind of take this thing out of the bag and get it set up pretty efficiently. The risers are right on top, so I grab the risers from the top of the glider when I open it up, and we grab the risers and then take all the lines, and I rosette them up. So I pull all the lines up until we start pulling the glider up out of the bag, and then I try to grab it as close to the fabric as I can, pull it up out of the bag, and now we're going to try to set the glider up with the A's on the top and the leading edge into the wind away from us. So when we open this, I got to find out where. Yep, so we are set up right now, so I can set this down, and then I can take the rest of this line bunch and I toss it just like that. So I swing it so the risers are on the outside, the rest of the lines are still out here, and now we grab a wingtip, which is right here. On the Ozone, they have the logo usually over here, so we can take this thing and give it a little bed sheet toss like that. We'll do the same thing with the other side. Grab the wingtip, do a little bed sheet toss. And we still have a little bit of tangling in the center there where I rosetted everything. So now when it's to this point, I will grab the risers and pull them back, shaking them a little bit. And now we can see that this bunch of lines goes to that side, this bunch of lines goes to this side, and I always hold the risers from the speed bar handle. It's just something I learned in training, and I don't ever stray from it. Now we're just going to get the glider lines situated here. We're going to make sure the A's are on top. Everything looks good. Believe it or not, this actually is good to fly, but we're going to straighten out these lines just to be a little bit more thorough, which I do every time. But since I've done this a bunch, I know what looks good and what doesn't. So the lines are good. We'll do another double check here in a second, but we want to bring the lines closer to the glider now that the tangles are out of it, and we'll get the glider laid out a little bit better. So we're going to do another bed sheet toss here now that the lines are freed up. I don't think there's quite enough wind. It's already starting to completely shut off. I don't think there's enough wind right now to kite the glider, which is where I bring it up overhead before I fly. So there's that. The layout looks good, but we are going to pull the bottom side of the glider. We're going to pull that out, and I'll show you how to do that. I also learned this from another instructor. So we're going to make sure our A lines, top, which go to the leading edge of the glider, which are blue on this glider, we're going to make sure these are free and clear all the way to the top, which they are. This one's free and clear to the top. Come on. There's just one little purple line. One of the B lines is just kind of hung up on it, so I'll hold this one up high. I'll grab the one that's on there and just pull it. Obviously, this would have came out, no problem. So now that we know the A's are on top and those are clear, we're going to grab our brake line, which is here, and we're going to walk it all the way to the left and pull that trailing edge out. So now we can visualize the lines even better. We can visualize that they are, it's kind of gusty right now. We probably could kite this thing up. And once you kite it up, kiting is actually probably better because then you can visualize it in the air. But this is a good way to do it when there's no wind. And that's just kind of how I'm setting it up for this video right now. Same thing on this side. We're going to make sure the A's clear to the top. Clear all the way to the top. Yep. Grab our brake line, and then we're going to walk away from the glider, pulling that trailing edge down. You can see it's kind of wanting to walk up because there's a little bit of wind. So we'll actually kite it up. Even though I just did this, this would be a good layout. We are good to go. And I would also go through each line individually sometimes just to kind of make sure every line is clear, not tangled or anything like that. Holding them up high and just kind of combing through each line. This usually doesn't take that long, especially when you've been doing it a while. You get a system down and you know what to look for, which you all learn in training. But yeah, let's kite it up. We have some wind. We're going to grab our A lines and then grab on the brakes down here, and we'll just kind of walk back. And we can see everything looks perfect. Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes the days that, wow, it's kind of strong right now. Some days the forecast is really good. The thermals hang on longer. I feel like the days that are really high pressure, clear clouds, like today, there's like virtually no clouds in the sky or anything. I feel like these days that are like this really clear clouds. Forecast looks amazing. The wind and the thermals hang around longer, it seems. But once sunset comes, or, you know, that last hour, then it gets completely smooth and the air just completely shuts off. But till then, we will have a little bit of wind. So let's do one more little kiting. Bring it up again. We're going to try to steer it. Here we go. We're going to walk back because it was on top of the glider bag there for a second. But yeah, here's another good check. You can see all the lines are free and clear, and this is how the thing's going to fly when we bring it up with the motor. So this is a good way to just know that your lines are clear, and you know for sure that they're not tangled or anything like that. So it's good to kite it, but sometimes the weather doesn't really allow for that. So let's set it down. All right. Yeah, it's definitely switchy right now. So in a situation like this where the wind is seemingly a little bit stronger than what's forecasted, I will call the airport. So the airport gives me live data for wind, and it'll give me what the wind is actually right now. So we can call and just be like, hey, what's going on, airport? What are you reporting down there? So we'll call Oshkosh Weather.
Dude, 0, Oshkosh, Whitman Regional Airport. Automated weather observation, 2144 Zulu. Wind 110 at 06. Visibility 10.
110 at 06. This wind is all over the place right now. Currently, the wind here is coming almost 280 to 300. That way's north. This is about 280. And the airport's reporting 110, which is wind that way, or wind this way, coming from that way. That just means it's variable. It's going to get variable like this right before it shuts off usually. So yeah, it's pretty switchy right now. That's why it's always good to have that windsock up. So, and it's reporting 06, which is 6 knots, is about 8 or 9 miles an hour, which is my cutoff on the ground. This is the strongest I would ever fly in. So I'll probably end up just waiting for another 10-15 minutes, and I'll call the airport again, 5-10 minutes from now and be like, hey, see if it's calming down, see what the trend is. I called like a little while ago and it was 03. So it's actually picked up, which sometimes it picks up right before it shuts off. So we'll just take our time getting the motor set up. So we'll unload the motor out of my trailer here. It is also a little chilly out today. It's only like 48 degrees. It's probably going to be 45 or so when I'm flying. All right, let's get this guy out. We'll set the motor in the parking lot right here, and we will check out the harness. We'll check out all the buckles, and we'll check out the carabiners. We'll check out my reserve parachute, make sure this guy's tucked away good. We'll check the netting, make sure we have good tension on this, which the netting keeps your hands kind of out of the prop. We'll check the prop, make sure that there's no nicks or anything like that. I've never broken a prop or anything like that. Good training goes a long way. Knowing how to kite your glider, knowing how to fly without flying on the ground before you actually ever take off. I spent all my Lanta 6 months every day almost kiting. And I credit my instructor at Wisconsin Powered Paragliding for being so diligent with me, even though back then I didn't really understand why he was being so strict. I appreciate it heavily now. So I checked the spark plug, I checked the motor mounts, I do a little shake on it. Everything should be good here. The air box is secure. The exhaust is all there. Everything looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll just have to put some gas in this thing. We have 1 liter in it right now. We'll probably put I'll probably put 5 liters in for this first flight, and we'll see how the air is. Sometimes if I put a lot of gas in and the air is crap, it sucks because you have more weight when you put more gas in. So it's always like a, give and take of, do I put a lot of gas in and hopefully I can stay up for longer, or do I, play it safe and just put a comfortable amount of gas in, because the more gas you put in, the heavier this thing gets. So, and I just put gas in this thing. I use AMSOIL Sabre. I mix the ratio the same exact way every single time. This motor loves it. So it's all shaken up here. We'll just put a couple liters in. There's 4. There's 5. That'll give us about 50 minutes, maybe a little bit longer of flight time. I burn about 6 liters every hour. So we're about 5 to 5.5 liters. So when I take off, I know I can fly for 50 minutes. And I use an app called Gaggle, which tracks how long I've been flying. And it also tells me about any aircraft within a 6-mile radius of where I am currently. So when I start flying, I will always record with Gaggle, which tells me where the airplanes are, any air traffic in the area, and it'll tell me where it is, what direction it's heading, etc., etc. And Gaggle also will track how long I've been flying, which helps me remember, okay, I took off with 5 liters of gas, I can fly for 50 minutes. So when Gaggle says I've been flying for 40, I know I gotta land soon. So, all right, gas cap's on. This thing looks great. We will strap this on in a second once we do one final weather check. I did notice that the wind is dying down. Since I've just put fuel in the motor, I've noticed it's starting to die off a little bit more. So we'll call the airport. It was reporting 06. I bet you it's reporting 05 right now. It's only been 5 minutes, but let's see if they're reporting less than 6.
Oshkosh, Whitman Regional Airport. Automated weather observation 2150 Zulu. Wind 110 at 04. Visibility.
Yeah, so within the last 5 minutes, it went from 06 to 04. So that's telling me, and it's also coming up on this final golden hour. Sunset's at 5:54. It's 4:51 right now. So this is coming up on the final hour before sunset. And the airport was reporting 06. Now it's reporting 04. Sometimes I'll even check right as I'm taking off just to make sure that the wind trend is going down. So if we check in another 5 minutes, I'd expect it to be, 04 or less, like 03 or calm. If the airport's reporting calm, we know we got a good day. So, and usually when I go flying, the airport's reporting 03 or calm. And then I know the air is going to be pretty good. All right, that was a mouthful. Let's, got the glider laid out, got the motor checked over, got gas in it, got our weather check done. We know that we're in an area we're familiar with. I fly here almost exclusively at this park in Oshkosh. And, I know where all obstructions are. There's no power lines in here. You can see there's light poles and stuff like that, and there's trees. But I know where all of the obstructions are around this area. So I know that, that's not going to be a hazard. Sometimes when you fly in unfamiliar areas, which I don't do a lot of, but if I do, I like to be with somebody that has flown there before. So I can kind of ask them, hey, should I fly here? What to look out for, etc., etc. But yeah, we are looking good. I'm excited to get up and go flying. Hopefully it's not too cold. I brought my gloves today, and I'm wearing some thermal layers under my pants. So hopefully we'll stay warm up there. This is nothing compared to what I've flown in before. So I guess I'm just acclimating, and we'll see how this flight goes. So I'm going to try to touch on maybe some other safety stuff once we take off. I'm going to try to put my 360 camera on quick, and then we'll take off and maybe talk some more in the air. But sometimes when I'm up there, I don't really like talking much because it's just a lot of sensory overload, and you don't really get to. Sometimes I just don't talk because I get anxious when I'm up there, and it's a battle between me and my own head, and that's a lot of the reason why I like to fly. And it's a challenge for me mentally and a little bit physically as well, running with that thing and running into the sky. So, but yeah, just a quick pre-flight here. This was a good babble, I think, to get you guys acclimated to what I do and how I stay safe and all that kind of stuff. If there's any other topics you want me to touch on, let me know. I would love to. I absolutely love this sport. Arguably more than cars. Arguably more than motorcycles and everything else. I really enjoy flying powered paraglider. And I'm trying to do this for a long time to come. That's why I try to be as safe as possible and be as smart as possible when I'm doing it. So, yeah.